Many thanks for joining us. Now, some residents of Sawaba, a suburb of Kumasi, which is the area where the Canadian nationals were rescued Wednesday night, say they are receiving death threats from some unidentified persons. Correspondent Ohiming Teria says the residents are asking for protection for the security agency because they do not feel safe.
We were in the community yesterday to speak to some residents who live nearby. As you monitored from our report, we protected the identity of the residents that we spoke to. But there are reports that some other media houses also went to the community, spoke to some residents, and actually did not protect their identity in that regard. So these are residents who are receiving death threats from people that are, believed to be close relatives or friends or associates of some of the suspects who have been picked up by police in relation to the kidnapping of the Canadian woman. This CCTV footage was captured on June 4, 2019 at about 8:25 p.m. When the two Canadian women, there were three actually in that the vehicle that you saw, a small car that just took the lead, is a Uber car that actually transported them from the restaurant at Asokwa. So the next adjoining house is the one that has a CCTV camera. So it captured them as the vehicle entered. Immediately it parked in front of the hostel. Then the red Toyota Corolla car which has also been trailing them from Asokwa, also alighted, also stopped just by that small car or the Uber car, and immediately the women got down. They bundled them into the vehicle. The Uber car actually took the lead first, and then the red Toyota car also took a turn to the opposite direction, and you could see that somebody was struggling to open the door whilst the other was also struggling to close it. So what we do know from the security operatives is that this is the CCTV footage that did the magic. It is widely being speculated in Kumasi that one of them identified as Seidu Yakubu Mba, who yesterday we said was an ardent Asante Kotoko supporter, is actually had or flirted with the NDC, and both the NDC and MPP in Kumasi specifically. First, he was one time a polling agent for the New Patriotic Party in the Menchia North constituency, and then switch come to the National Democratic Congress in Kumasi, that's the NDC, and also flirted with them. He has been with the NDC. That is a claim or the speculation in town until his arrest by the security operatives for his involvement in the kidnapping of the Canadian woman. This is being speculated, and what we do know is that the Delta Force, for instance, MPP vigilante group had already issued a statement claiming that this Seidu Mba gentleman is not a member of their team.
We stay with this story, and Joy News' visits to a site believed to be the final holding point for the two kidnapped Canadian women rescued at Kenyase Chiase reveal their captors kept them in unhygienic conditions. A two-bedroom apartment at a bushy and marshy new settlement in the Kwabri East municipality appears to have been unoccupied long before the kidnapped ladies were taken there. Bowls of cooked food rendered unwholesome for days in a room the kidnapped woman had been accommodated welcomes the visitor. It is unclear who served the food for whom, but a police source says the victims may have rejected the food from their captors. Ohiming Teria has more.
19-year-old Bailin Chiti and Lauren Patricia Catherine had been missing for about a week after four men bundled them into a red Toyota Corolla car at the entrance of their private hostel at Inshaeso in Kumasi. CCTV footage of the scene is said to have led to the arrest of about 10 people in separate operations at Sawaba in Asokwe-Mampong municipality and Kenyase Achiase, leading to the rescue of the woman. Police crime scene team had cordoned off the area as handful of residents witnessed events in disbelief. At the time of our visit, police personnel had picked what they say is a grenade at the scene. Spent shells, believed to have been fired from shotgun, are scattered at the scene. It feels very stuffy in the 2 rooms, with personal belongings of male adults scattered all over. The mattresses and blankets, believed to have served as resting place for the Canadian women, look very dirty on the floor. The 2 rooms have uncompleted bathroom in between them, with wet floors indicating very recent usage. A few residents have met a very reserved gentleman who lives in that house. This woman who witnessed the rescue operation tells Joy News little is known about the occupant, who is always seen in winter hats.
I know only one gentleman who lives in the house. We exchange greetings anytime we meet. I only heard of the kidnapped women after police rescued them. The last time I saw him was during the Eid al-Fitr. I have since never set eyes on him.
Her narration was corroborated by another resident.
I am surprised someone chose to bring the kidnapped women here. I can't even imagine it. I saw phones and unwholesome food, including noodles, in there. It baffles me how someone will bring them here.
From Kenya, Chiansi for Joy News, Ohiminteria reporting.
Away from that story, 4 boys brutalized by the military in Sunyani for allegedly stealing a laptop from the barracks are yet to get justice 1 year on. One of the boys suffers recurrent headaches and has started bleeding in the nose, while a second victim has been unwell for several months and had to postpone writing his basic education certificate examinations to next year. Jojo Kobna, who has been following up on this story, meanwhile reports the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice is not definite on when the report on the case will be released.
They knocked our door at 3 a.m. Then they pulled us out of our rooms and marched us to the barracks. They started beating us, kicking us, lashing us with fan belts. We cried and begged, but they did not listen. They forced us to lie face down and kicked our heads. Oh, I be human being, 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 oh.
On June 24, 2018, 4 children in Sunyai were brutalized by the military for allegedly stealing a computer. The children said although they maintained their innocence, they were tortured to confess to a crime they did not commit. Kwesi, a name I altered to protect his identity, is emotional. Recollecting treatment meted out to him is painful.
Woma ebo mitima ehuno mitine huno kasiye woma ne yi no mo de hwe woma na sekan ne dade no mo de hwe na tigdia na mo de bobo media mitin no mo de yi woma boom ne ehuno no million de mo de yi twane we dade mo de won hanum.
The Bono Regional Strategy Director Halimatu Nuhu promised the case will be investigated and a report finalized by the end of August 2018.
We started our investigation on 3rd July. That was when we first requested for the comments. Hopefully, by the end of this week, we get all the information. And then we try to see what they have said in their comments and what the law says concerning the interaction of the dealings of the military with the civilian society.
Unfortunately, the report has not been concluded. The victims are unhappy with the delay in concluding the case. The boy's conditions have deteriorated. Kwesi now complains of headache and recently says blood oozes from his nose.
Cultural bands, name pony for say, I send me out to run on Kabima. A man was at their bear may cry up. Send me out to a motion among Canon and Jimmy Wall. I don't go hospital. I'm on Tom. Besides, said, the quadrun so no moja, moja free me. And Jimoja and I have fought me in Bowman, man, my pig. There's a check a crown saying, we come feel it and go hospital, but Mammy soon is car.
Kwesi hardly attends school because of his ill health, and his teacher, Cynthia Boatima, says that has badly impacted his performance in school.
The boy was not in school even about half of the term. We recorded about 36 out of the 71 attendance in the first term. And whenever he comes to school complaining about headache and always sleeping, and even one day I heard when people returned from break, one of them told me that the boy, there was blood from the nose, so he went to the house.
Kwesi's mother, Beatrice Edichumwa, says she tried home remedy to stop the blood from oozing.
And I'm Scasama Bini Wintino, Intimate Fananco Hospital. You be treating a fa and na uncle for no so if he's asking me see this is Amri and tea she and so many people intimate or moyana Unkurana Pomode and to Yena is mintimina Abrabomaniji Kakra.
Musa, a name I chose to protect his identity, also a victim of the brutality, has been unwell for many months. He was supposed to be a candidate for the ongoing BECE, but that has been deferred to next year due to his ill health. His father, Abubakari Seidu, wants Shraj to expedite work on the reports. Joy News checks show that a report has been sent from Sunyai to the head office of Shraj for finalization. It is, however, unclear when Shraj will release the report, as authorities are unsure when the report will be concluded. Jojo Kobna, Joy News.
Still live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Taze. Now, an 18-year-old lady who recently converted to Christianity from Islam has been compelled to go into hiding because her Muslim father is refusing to accept her new faith. Mariam Abubakar, who lived with her parents until March this year when she decided to embrace Christianity, says she's had to leave home after her father threatened to kill her. Mariam, who spoke with Joy News' Latif Idris from an undisclosed location, accused the father of hiring some thugs to attack the church where she now worships. Latif Idris has more.
Karl Marx once disparaged religion by describing it as the opium of the people. That opium becomes even more toxic when it becomes a splitter of family rather than a unifier. And that is the smell 18-year-old Mariam is feeling from her parents' opium.
Mariam looks stressed and terrified and dejected. Wearing a white knee-level lace garment she borrowed from her new host, she tells me her father's threat gives her sleepless nights.
My father said because of the church he would disown me, and now I don't have anywhere to go. He told me if I still go to the church, he'll bring cutlass over there and come and butcher me.
She talks about how she became a convert.
At first, I was a stubborn girl. Like, I used to go out with my friends. I used to go to clubs. I used to take shisha. I used to take alcohol. But
you did all the nasty things.
Yes, I had a friend who was attending the church, and always he has been asking me, "Mariam, come to church." They have been inviting people in our community. They always come for evangelism. And whenever I see them, I used to run because I don't want to listen to them. But one day, like, I was sick, yes, and I met him. So when I was sick, he called and I told him that I'm not feeling well, so I want to join them to the campus for prayer. So he picked me and we went. When we went, he prayed for me. And when I came home, I was okay.
Blames her father, who she says failed to teach her the tenets of Islam when she was a child.
If my dad was to be a truly Islam, like a Muslim, like wouldn't have let me be a Christian, because by all means he will make sure I pray, I do what they do. But because of that, he doesn't force us, doesn't say anything to us if you don't pray. So, and I can't just be there like that. I have to do something.
It may be the opium of the masses, as Karl Marx claims in his definition of religion, but Islam holds a totally different view on religion. In verse 256 of the Holy Quran, Allah says, and I quote, La ikra fi din katabayyana rushdu min al-ghayb, which translates, let there be no compulsion in religion. Truth stands out clear from error. Now, in the same Quran, Allah says again, and I quote, Inna dina inna Allah Islam, which translates, truly, the religion with Allah is Islam.
From today going,
she cannot live under my benevolence as a father and go against my orders and belief. Together with his wife, Mariam's mom, they showed reports from 5 years ago when Mariam was attending Islamic school.
Mariam Abu.
Yeah?
So these are the reports of Mariama whilst attending madrasat at Nima.
He also denied ever threatening to kill his daughter.
I
only tried to put the fear of God in her when I threatened to go to jail because of her decision. It was obvious though, Mr. Saidu loved his daughter to bits. Though at 18, Mariam is free to choose the group she wants to associate with, her continuing dependence on her parents makes her situation tricky. Human rights lawyer Francis Xavier Sosu says the police would have to necessarily take in Mariam's father for questioning.
Once the threat has been made, the law enforcement officers, need to invite the parent, or needs to at least, invite not even invite, arrest the father and possibly, caution him. And those steps would be a check, on the father, even if she is not willing to pursue it. And I would support her ideas and her decision not to pursue it. However, I think there is some, need for the police to do some arrest and some cautioning.
He says the chief imam, rights groups, and the international community would have to intervene in the situation if the state fails.
What this girl needs now is love, support from the people that she now have joined. The Christian community definitely need to reach out, with love to this girl. All persons out there who really believe in freedom of religion. Including our embassies that are around us, our international community should be interested in this little girl.
Mariam's vexed dad says the pastor who converted her is not only creating bad blood between him and his daughter, but pitching her against him.
Now, Islamic scholar Sheikh Ayman Al-Shaibo, however, cautions the father against any form of threats against his daughter.
The issue of one person, either a child or somebody who has become of age, leaving or renouncing his religion of origin into a new religion. In this particular case, the scenario we have at hand is not unexampled. You have found members from a Christian family converting to Islam at one time or the other, and at one time or the other.
On Joy News today with me, Daniel Dazi. And up ahead in the bulletin, the 13-year-old girl allegedly defiled by a chief and a taxi driver in Ashanti has been discharged from the hospital after successful treatment. We'll be back. Thanks for staying with us. And a 13-year-old girl allegedly defiled by a chief and a taxi driver in the Ashanti region has been discharged from the hospital after successful treatment. Her mother is set to receive financial support from Accra-based NGO Bright Minds Foundation to start a business. Executive Director of the foundation, Victoria Bright, says the group will pursue the case in court to get justice for the Class 5 pupil. Midday has more in the following report.
The girl's condition has improved significantly from the time she went into admission for persistent bleeding and with walking difficulty. It was an emotional visit for officials of Bright Minds Foundation who were meeting the 13-year-old girl for the first time following Joy News report on her plight. An elated Miss Bright, who was Minister of State and legal advisor to former President Kufuor, could not hide her joy about the progress made.
I'm actually very elated to have met her finally with her mom and her younger siblings. The person whose pictures I saw in the beginning is not the same person I'm seeing. She's smiling, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy to see her today. Very happy. And she's well, she's walking okay, and she looks healthy.
Bright Minds Foundation seeks to protect social, economic and psychological well-being of children burdened by poverty demands. Miss Bright announced a package for the 13-year-old girl and her family, which include accommodation at the place of the family's choice.
What she went through, no child of her age should ever go through that again. So beyond that, first of all, they cannot go back to the village they came from. She needs to start life afresh. So we are going to relocate her to one of the nearest towns where her mother feels comfortable, a town that they are familiar with but is far away enough from the village for them to restart their life. We will also ask the mother to find a trade, and I will give her working capital so that she can start really and be able to feed her children and be able to stand on her own 2 feet.
The girl's mother, Mary Adakwa, got emotional as she expressed appreciation to Miss Victoria Bright and her team.
All hope was lost for me and my children. But God has provided a helper in the person of Madam Victoria Bright. My worries and tears are over. God bless Madam Victoria Bright for the gesture. Neighbors are surprised at the support. I will no longer sell dry bamboo for a living. Thank you, Madam Victoria Bright.
Meanwhile, Miss Bright is asking the public to rally against sexual assault of children in the society. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Midday reporting.
Some great news coming in there in spite of the gloomy situation. Now, away from that, the centrifuge is one of the most important diagnostic tools for detecting diseases like malaria and African sleeping sickness. Unfortunately, it cannot be used in areas where power is unavailable or erratic. 2 female biomedical engineering students of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology have developed a cheaper hand-powered equipment. They achieved the feat by converting a well gig, an age-old local playing device known in Akan as Akata. On Tech Thursday, Love FM's Kwesi Deborah speaks with the students behind the innovation.
Centrifuge is a high-speed liquid sampling spinning device. It makes heavier materials to travel towards its bottom tube quicker than under force of normal gravity. In the case of blood, less heavy plasma stays afloat, whilst parasites like malaria-causing Plasmodium settle in the middle and blood cells at the bottom tube. Prince Odame.
In the area of diagnosis, you might be sick, but you might have a simple headache, but the doctor will have to actually determine what is actually going on. And it could be malaria. That is when diagnosis comes in. And then in the diagnosis of malaria, we need centrifuge. And then centrifuges are expensive. I mean, the cheapest you can get is about 12,000 Ghana cedis, you know. So a poor community hospital in the village might not even have that.
It is known locally as Akata, and it's a form of a welligig. And because of the peculiar sound it makes, listen. Some locals prefer to call it Akatahi. Our people have always been masters of literature. Sana Mahmoud and Rose Edudakon, together with supervisor Prince Odame, sought to make Akata a formidable medical tool. It comprises an electrical junction pipe, a fisherman thread, 2 cardboard discs with straw affixed to the card. Sana Mahmoud.
Electrical junction pipes as holders, then fishing net and twine as a thread, and cardboard, normal cardboard, and then Velcro to stick this together. And these are just common straws acting as holders for the tubes.
A capillary tube is used to draw blood samples and fix inside the straw. The hand-powered centrifuge works by holding the spanned electrical junction pipes. As the operator moves the handle back and forth, it produces a force called torque, which causes the disc to rotate. The rotating tubes containing blood samples are well separated for testing in a matter of 2 minutes.
An advantage of this device is that in the case of power outages, hospitals who already have centrifuges can shift to this to save time. And also those areas in Ghana where they don't even have electricity. The price is around 10 cedis compared to the commercial centrifuges, which range from 12,000 cedis and above. This one is just 10 cedis.
Okay. Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.
Now, with just 4 days to the start of the 2019 National Science and Maths Quiz, all 135 schools are expected to arrive today. Yesterday, over 50 schools arrived and told Joy News they were poised to earn this year's bragging rights of being crowned champions. You know that Krowo Girls, Prempeh College, Opokowari Senior High School have all arrived. But Nancy Emefa Jodosi is at the University of Ghana and we understand has caught up with a few others. So Nancy, in a couple of minutes, you are standing at the door of which of the schools?
So I'm currently at GSTS. This is the door of GSTS.
Yes, and take us inside and let's meet these contestants.
Okay, so this is a typical boys' room. I mean, every single person here is learning. When we came, you'd see the books, the tables, the laptops. You know, you see beds on the floor. These guys are learning, some are taking a nap, and it's all fun and excitement, but I mean, they're also taking this very seriously. They should tell you that they are leaving no stone unturned, and they're going to ensure that they're winning. Are you winning? Yes, we are winning. Is GSTS winning? No. who is winning? Okay, so put your hands up for a contestant. Who are the contestants? Okay, so let me come to you. What should we be expecting from your school in this competition?
Okay, we are going to do our best in this competition. We know with God we will be able to do wonders, and we are making it to the finals this year. We are not giving any chance in whatever we are doing, and we surely will get to the finals.
So he said he's getting to the finals. Are you also a contestant? Okay, so where are you also going to get to?
Okay, by His grace, that's by the grace of God, and with the help of our patron saint, we are hopeful that we'll make it far this year.
You all agree that you'll make it far this year? Yes. You're winning it. Let me come closer to you. You seem to be very confident. Excuse me, let me pass here. You came to cheer them on. You came to support them, I guess.
Okay, and I'm also part of the
Oh, you're part of the contestants. How?
science tech.
Oh, the science tech. That's going to happen tomorrow. How prepared are you towards that?
Oh, I'm very prepared. And I know I'm going to show them something good, and then they'll like it.
Okay, so Daniel, he mentioned the SciTech. The SciTech fair is going to be happening tomorrow at the Athletics Oval. They're expecting a lot of these schools to come up with very innovative ways, to apply science in our daily lives. And this should tell you that this National Science and Maths is not only about, going to sit on the stage and do the math and the calculation, but it includes technology and all of that. So Daniel, from the University of Ghana, I've been speaking to many of these students. Some schools are yet to come. I mean, I can say that for now, we can say that close to 100 schools have arrived, and we'll be bringing our viewers updates in our subsequent bulletins.
Definitely. Thank you very much for that update, and you want to stay with us on all our bulletins for some NSMQ fever. Remember, the hashtag on social media is NSMQ on Joy. Coming up in business, though, Ghana Revenue Authority discloses many manufacturing firms are not taking advantage of various tax incentives under the law.